Good evening, everyone. I'm calling to order the Human Relations Commission meeting. Session is open to the public. We're on. Call to order, Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence, please. Let's stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Present. Commissioner Boone,
Present.
Commissioner Ramos,
Present.
Commissioner Bernard,
Present.
Commissioner Harvitt, present. Commissioner Patton, present.
Commissioners that are absent that are excused, Mayor Angela Sword Heath, and Commissioner Dylan Barron. Motion to excuse the absence of both the mayor and Commissioner Barron.
Commissioner Ramos, I will motion to excuse the absence of Mayor Sword Heath.
Do I have a second?
Cavazos Frank, second.
Ready for the question? All in favor? Roll call.
Commissioner Frank. Yes. Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvitt. Yes. Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with the unanimous vote.
All right, going to approval of our regular minutes. I need a motion for the approval of the regular minutes. Everyone has received them.
I motion to approve the meeting minutes of the June meeting.
I second.
All in favor for roll call.
Commissioner Frank. Yes. Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvitt. Yes. Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with unanimous vote.
Thank you. We need addition to our regular minute agenda. And I would like to entertain a subcommittee update to the agenda. I need a motion for that.
Yes, there is.
I'd like to do them separately. Thank you.
I'd like to add a review of the bylaws to update them by the subcommittee.
I wanted to do them separately. So I have a motion on the floor and I have a second
I
the
second the
motion.
motion.
for the subcommittee bylaws. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank. Yes. Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvitt,
Yes,
Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with unanimous vote.
I need a motion for our annual meeting review.
I motion to discuss the annual meeting.
Commissioner Patton, I second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank. Yes. Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes.
All right, now we need approval of the regular meeting agenda for July 26, 2022. Motion, please.
I motion to approve the agenda with the noted changes.
Commissioner Bone, I second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with unanimous vote.
All right, the treasurer's update report. Commissioner Boone,
There has been no changes to the treasury.
motion to receive the report.
I motion to accept the treasurer report, Commissioner Ramos.
Commissioner Patton, I second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with unanimous vote.
All right, we'll go into our old business discussion, our current issues and updates. And we will have an update on a complaint presented to the city commissioners in June. And the discussion on this new complaint is also number 7. So we will wait and jump down to that, okay? So let's plan our next regular meeting speaker. Let's talk about that with our other update with our yearly calendar, because that would be under that for September. Training, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the HRC and the city employees. These were recommendations that we were trying to put together. And all of this basically is under our update reports. So at this time, I'd like to entertain the update report for the subcommittee that is doing the yearly calendar.
Okay, the November 4th will be the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Training. It will be from 6 to 8 p.m. That's on November 4th. On November 5th, it will be from 10 to 1 p.m. This will be at Weber Center in the garden level. This is programmed for the city commissioners as well as city employees. We're estimating about 50 people. There will be snacks and box lunches that will be provided. So it's a day and a half, basically, training for city employees and the city commissioners on diversity and inclusion.
And this is a recommendation. So we'd like to entertain discussion at this time for that portion of it. November 5th, 4th and 5th. 4th is an evening, 6 to 8 p.m. And the 5th of November would be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Is that correct?
That's
And we're
correct.
talking about the location is going to be
Weber Center by the Adrian Dominican Sisters.
the Weber Center. Now, this is a recommendation from the committee. We can vote now to receive that and we can finish finalizing it. Can I get a motion to receive that portion? Or do we can just do the whole entire thing if you'd like. So the next recommendation is for October.
October 15th, trauma training is scheduled. It will be October 15. That's a change in the date we originally thought of because Weber Center was not available. So it will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on October 15 at Weber Center in the common room. We will provide snacks and box lunches. And we're estimating perhaps 20 people, and the cost will be about $20 per person for this activity.
All right. Any discussion on that? Anyone? Okay. The rest of our update is about September. And that's our regular meeting or our pre-meeting.
I am reaching out to the fire chief and asking if he would be interested in speaking with us on the meeting or in the meeting in September, which is September 27th. And if he would invite the new liaison from the fire department, and they would be interested in giving a presentation on what that looks like in regards to the new liaison position.
Any comments or questions on this particular item?
As far as the pre-meeting part of it, I think a pre-meeting would be a good idea. Even if it's just a short, like 30-minute one, so that we can go over a couple of things or hear like a speaker.
So you would like him to be our presenter at the pre-meeting in September?
I'm open to him being in the pre-meeting or the meeting. I just think regardless, we should probably have at least a short pre-meeting in case we need to go over some things.
Oh, you're talking about, we will start back with our pre-meetings in September, so.
Yes, I'm in favor
We
of
can
that.
have him, we can have him either time. So what is your pleasure so that we can vote on these recommendations that they're giving us?
I like dedicating the pre-meeting to a speaker because I think that gives them, like, they have that whole space to say what they need to say, and we don't have to worry about leaving time for other business that needs to be voted on and stuff like that. I like it that it allots that time just for them.
Okay, if that does not work for him, then what we will do is consider him for the regular meeting. Because some of the comments I've been getting is timing, getting off work and coming in and having others to be able to be available. So the 7 o'clock was better than the 5:30 and 6 o'clock time. So if we would think about that, to leave that open to him, that he could come to the pre-meeting and do the presentation, or he can come to the 7 o'clock. So that would be our recommendation if we decide to go with that, okay? So do we have any other report from the committee, the subcommittee?
In November, we were thinking of the town hall meeting could be here on human trafficking. And that would be November, either the 10th or the 17th. So that's what we were thinking. We had mentioned it earlier, but we want to bring it forth again.
And we can have it here at City Hall in the chambers, as long as there's no conflict. We can choose the 10th or the 17th is what's available for that time. So let's think about that. And that's something that we need to receive the report for the subcommittee update. We can receive the report and we can vote on the items at this time. Are you all ready to vote, or you have any other discussion?
I'm generally in favor of these. Of course, there's a good number of these that I just simply won't be able to make it to, but I'm definitely in support of them happening and the information being spread. And of course, the learning.
Okay, well, let's,
I will
Let's-
motion to receive the report.
second,
Commissioner Boone, I second.
roll call vote on receiving the report.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvet,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes, passes with a unanimous vote.
All right, so let's talk about October the 15th. That's the date we had to change. We had the 8th, and that's not going to be possible at this time. So the 15th is available 10 to 3 at the Weber Center. The cost would be approximately $20 per person. And that's something that we will be doing, the HRC is doing, and opening it up to others outside in the city departments. So I'd like to vote on that at this time. I need a motion first. Motion.
I motion that we approve the October 15th event at the Weber Center.
Commissioner Boone, I second.
Yes, it's been properly made and second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvet,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes, passes with a unanimous vote.
All right, our next item is November the 4th and 5th for diversity, equity, and inclusion training to be held at the Weber Center again from 6 to 8 on Friday, the 4th, and 10 to 1 on the 5th, which is a Saturday. I need a motion.
I motion.
Commissioner Boone, I second.
All in favor, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvet,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes, passes with a unanimous vote.
All right, the town hall meeting is the next item. And that is that we're scheduling to hold it on November the 10th or the 17th. And I need to know which date is best for you all.
I personally cannot do the 10th at all, but I will motion to approve it regardless of what the, like, if you all decide that either of those days work. I just know I can't do the 10th.
Can you do the 17th?
I could. If it's within a reasonable time, I don't think that was one of the AM, so I could probably do the 17th,
That's
fine.
that's a PM time.
Then yeah, I could do the 17th, fine.
Okay. Any other concerns about that time?
I'll approve either of those days, but I'll be out of the country.
The 17th of November?
I'll be out, yes.
I didn't hear you.
Both of them, I'll be out of the country.
Okay.
And I'll be in Africa.
Okay, so we can still go forward the 10th or the 17th. So it looks so far that the 17th is actually better for you, Commissioner. Anyone else have a concern about the 17th?
No, either date is.
Well, he's saying he's not available for the 10th, so we can choose right now to the 17th. Okay, so I need a motion for us to do the town hall, prepare a town hall for November the 17th. We usually have 6 to 8. So we can have that time at 6 to 8,
Mhm.
okay?
All right, well then I motion to have the town hall on the 17th.
I second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvet,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes, passes with a unanimous vote.
All right, now, we really don't have to vote on the chief of the fire department because we've been speaking with him since May, June. And he said what was best for him was September. So all we need to do is continue by contacting him and letting him know that we've chosen September for him to be able to come. And he's going to bring other staff members with him, or he's going to choose them to be here in his place. So we will just move forward with that since we've already voted on that to have that. So that will be our pre-meeting, if that's good for him, or 7 o'clock, our regular meeting. Okay? All right, so that is all that we have in that area. So we got to talk about the trauma training that we wanted to think about having we were talking about having it in October, but that won't work. So we have to come up with a date. Can we think about that date, possibly doing something the first of the year? Or do you all want to do it at a pre-meeting or a regular meeting?
Is the trauma training not October 15th?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. That is our trauma training. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm looking at that wrong. Yes, it
Okay.
is. Okay. So we're all set. The update now on the next, no, let's do the annual meeting at this time. So let's have a report on the information from our subcommittee on the bylaws. We're on the bylaws, and part of the bylaws is in there is about the meetings, right? So, but I want you to go through all of it, whatever
Okay,
updates. you
let me start this way then. You will find that there are packets of bylaws. Please take one if you don't have one. I can go through line by line. These are them submitted in writing. If you like them, we can continue to move forward with them. But I can go line by line, or I can answer specific questions. Go through it just very quickly. The things that are red and crossed out are things that we think should be removed and replaced with whatever mint or purple you see, or to just be removed in general. So there's a few things that are just simple housekeeping, like there's some lowercase c's when it says the commission, which is supposed to be a capital C. So went through, did some capital C's. You'll find a few thes missing, so put those in. And you'll also find some more housekeeping stuff, like there's a few times it calls us the authority, which is not what our bylaws say we're called, so it's turned into the commission. So you have some general cleanup like that. And then there's some things that are a little bit more noteworthy. So the commissioners area in Article 3, commissioners appointed by the mayor shall be approved by the Adrian City Commission. It says nothing about where these commissioners can be from. Traditionally, we limit it to people in Adrian, but as far as I can tell, there is nothing in our bylaws that say anything about that. So that is why the purple was added there, to make some clarification. And then there's like a confusing sentence in section 2, the removal of officers. We just try to clean that up so it made a little more sense. Then I'm pretty sure in section 3, chairperson, someone just forgot a P when they were originally making it. But we do not ask for our chairperson to reside at the meeting. We ask them to preside, so that's fixed. And there's just a couple other house cleaning things like that. Again, I can go line by line if you'd like. And I'm sure that the rest of the committee can agree that we spent quite a bit of time on this. And we asked each other over and over, does this sound right? Does this sound right? And along with that, not that it's a big deal, but it's kind of interesting, is according to our bylaws, subcommittees don't exist. They're just called committees. It's not really a big deal, but it's something that I thought was kind of interesting as we were going through them, and that we apparently have 2 different types of committees that do almost the exact same thing, with the exception of who chooses their chair. And of course, there's like the executive committee that's a little bit different, but the advisory and the commission committees are pretty much the same thing. I'll kick it on over to my fellow bylaws committee members if they have anything they'd like to say. Otherwise, I can continue to go through this if you want.
Something interesting that I had seen and that we had talked about was the section 11 teleconference, where it says, in the event the commissioner cannot be physically present, teleconference communications can be accommodated. And then we would like to add commissioners able to participate remotely would be counted as present. So this was already in our bylaws, that first sentence, that teleconference communication should be accommodated. I think that would change the way some of our commissioners, when we're not able to make it, or for whatever reason, we'd still be able to call in and function as a part of the commission. I know that the city had given us different guidelines, so I think we should just request the statute that they're looking at, saying that we can't vote and weigh in on things if we're on telecommunications. So we can see how that lines up with our bylaws, like which we should be abiding by, because the information that we got from the city is different than the information in our physical bylaws.
Anything else?
I can go through it line by line if you'd like. Otherwise, if there's anything in particular that stuck out to you.
Well, I would I really appreciate all the time that you all spent on this. And we would still like to go through it and connect it with the ordinance, because in the ordinance says the same thing about telecommunication. So that's what I'd like to refer to when we talk to the city about it. And I was going to explain that Mayor Heath and also our administrator have already talked to the lawyer to try to get this put back in place. So we're waiting for her report back to us about actually putting the telecommunications opportunity for us to be on Zoom if we cannot be at the present meeting. But then we have to talk about what constitutes a reason for being absent and present when we all meet. So that's one thing. And one of the things is I'd like Commissioner Arvet, if she would tell us one of the things that she was thinking about when we talked about
Yeah.
telecommunication.
Thanks, Andrea. Yes, I will be ending my term in leadership for the congregation on October 8th. And
At
I've
the
been
Dominican.
with the Dominican Sisters. So as of October 8th, I've been granted a sabbatical, a year of sabbatical till the following year of October 8th, 2023. During that year, I'm not sure exactly where I will be nor what I'll be doing. So I would like to continue on the commission. I believe I have one more year left. But I'm not sure if I'll always be physically present here in Adrian. I might be traveling and have access to teleconferencing and could tune in certainly and participate fully. But again, that's a change in the bylaws. So that's why I was interested in having that changed. If it doesn't change, I would say I would have to resign because I'm not sure of my locale during that entire year. You know, and I don't think that's fair then to this group, that you would be indefinite with where I am.
Hey, any other comments about that?
I just want to note that that's one of the things that we're talking about with the bylaws is we're looking at is it doesn't matter where you're from technically as far as our bylaws go, as long as you were able to be appointed by the city. I definitely understand why you would want to just take a leave if you're unable to otherwise. But as far as the residency, that's not really the issue. I think it's more of the attendance section that would be the issue for that. But as far as the telecommunications thing, if we're supposed to be following our bylaws, then technically right now it should be fine. But
Well, we have been asked by the mayor to hold off on that until she gets clearance from not only our city attorney, but also the state of Michigan, because she thought that that was possibility that they have outlawed us being on Zoom and when they have an in-house meeting. So that's something that we have to wait on. And so what I would like us to do, so that we can look over the changes that you all have made, that we address this at the next meeting and ask the mayor if she would actually be able to give us an update before that time. We can get updates. I've been sending some updates when I can.
I can
So-
actually shed some light on that if you want me to.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's actually the Open Meetings Act that doesn't allow participation via Zoom unless you're in the military. There was an exception during the pandemic and up until, I think it was December 31st of 2021.
Yes.
So it's, whether it's in your bylaws or not, it's a state statute that currently prohibits it.
And that was what she was going to check on.
I keep hearing Zoom, but I have the question of what about a phone call? Like, that is also telecommunications. Is that also
Right.
under that?
Right.
That-
And I
Okay.
can send you the Open Meetings Act if you would like. so you can read
Please
that.
do.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's what we had talked about during some of our meetings too, is that when we get this information from the city, that like it come in an email with the actual, like the act that you guys are getting this information from, just so we can physically see it and we're not just taking words for it, I guess.
I think that was one of the things that we addressed at the commission when we first started back having the HRC. And so it wasn't continued because we hadn't had the pandemic. The pandemic brought in a new way of doing things. And it seems that it's an easy way to do it. However, again, the mayor was explaining about the state of Michigan and their laws about the Open Meetings Act. So that's something that we have to update the ordinance as well and update our bylaws with that. So that's something that I still would need us to wait for, that we get the Open Meetings Act paper in your hands. I have it, and we will have you look at it. I'll try to get it so that you can look at it before the next meeting, so that we can go on and vote on the changes that you all have made. And I'd like to say thank you so much for what you've done. The purple is the inclusions that you'd like to make. The red is what you would like to take out.
Mint is also things that we'd like to include. And I would also like to make a quick note that we wouldn't be able to vote in favor of these anyways, because the way it works is we have to submit them to you in writing
Right.
first.
Exactly,
This is the submitting in writing part.
right.
I mean, it's not handwriting, but you wouldn't be able to read it if it was handwriting.
No, sir, that's not necessary. I have it in my hand and we're
Yep.
going to look it over. We have any questions, we will address the committee.
There is, oh, go ahead. There's just one more thing I'd like to note when you're ready.
Go ahead.
All right, now traditionally, we tend to skip, well, not skip, cancel our December meetings. So that's why I also thought that it might be useful in regular meetings, section 2, article 5, to go from at least 12 to at least 11, so that we don't have to do that every year, if that is something that we're at all able to do.
One of the other things that came up that I've been talking to the mayor about, and that's something that I was going to bring to you all, about how often we have HRC meetings. As we noted in May, we decided that we didn't have to have the pre-meeting for the summertime. Again, we are trying to think about, do we need to meet every single month of the year? If we take December out, and it's because most people are traveling. Also, we think about the summertime, a lot of people are traveling and visiting while their children are out of school or wherever. And so there's a lot of things that are happening. And so we can look at and think about, do we need to have 12 meetings? At this particular time, the ordinance does not say that, but our bylaws do. The ordinance says we have the option of having how many meetings we would like. And the bylaws say that we actually have to have 12 meetings. So we vote every meeting. In the 7 o'clock meeting, we can vote to change anything else that we'd like to change. If 3 of the commissioners would like to bring it to our attention, we can do that, and then we can vote on it, and then we can decide what we would like to do. But before we do it, we would like to talk this over to not only the mayor, because we're her commission, but also have an opportunity for her to talk to the commissioners to see if that's something that they would like us to have the option to do. That would also that would help to solve some of the problem of missing time for, say, for example, Commissioner Harvat. And also for others that have been missing during the past year to 2 years. So if we're going to implement this and we're going to put it into place and we're going to operate by it, then let's get it right. And I appreciate what you all have done.
Like I said, the 11 was following precedents over the last about 6 years, because I have not been in a single HRC December meeting. I've even tried. You guys wouldn't let me. Technically, whoever opens the door wouldn't let me, but
Well, let's say this, we can call a meeting, or we can say, take the month of December off. I think it was a good idea because we had some very snowy days on the days that we were supposed to meet. So that's something we can talk about and
I'm
think
not
about.
saying any of it's bad. I'm just saying that the only reason why we chose 11, not 10 or 9 was because we've only ever missed 1 a year. So that is why we chose that number in particular.
Okay. So we're going to review, and thank you so much for the update. Is there any other discussion for us to have on this particular area? Bylaws, but I do want you all to look at them and review them and connect them with the ordinance. Look at your ordinance. If you don't have it, let me know. We can send it to you. I'm going to try to get both of the ordinance and also the Open Meetings Act to you in the next week or 2, okay? So that we can have some discussions that may be able, we can change things, or we can start working and moving in that direction. Okay, anything else the committee would like to say or bring to us, our attention?
I think the rest is just in there. Let us know if there's anything else you'd like us to go over at like the next meeting. And unless they have anything to say, I think we're good.
Okay, so a corrected copy will be presented at the next meeting. And once it's presented at that meeting, then we'll be able to vote on it, okay? All right, any other questions on that? If not, let's talk about the new complaint that was submitted to the HRC, that's number 7, on June 22nd. The conversation was only in talking to me. We do not accept grievances or complaints based on a conversation. Person has to put it in writing. And when they put it in writing, they have to sign the paper and submit it to the city. The city will send it to our commission if it's something that we're supposed to address. However, this particular complaint came to me, and we talked a little bit about it in the June meeting, but we were talking about it. We weren't talking technically the information, because we were talking about conversation, not something in writing. The other thing is, I've already investigated this before our meeting in June, and I found that this is not something that this commission can even deal with. It is something to deal with the courts, and it deals with violation that could be possibly considered a felony violation. So that is not our territory to deal with, and it's not something that we can even address. So I'd like for this committee to do, one thing is to vote at this time to dismiss this particular complaint from our area, just as a record to show that we did talk about it, but we do not have the ability to vote on this or act on this or investigate this. This is actually something for our courts.
If we didn't receive it in writing, then would we even need to vote on it?
Well, we need to talk about it. Well, we need to vote that we will not address it because we did address it in June. We talked about it and we talked about moving it into a subcommittee and a complaint.
I think it was just you and the mayor
It was.
had brought it up and discussed
was.
it, and then,
It
yeah,
was on the agenda, so we need to take it off. So the best way to do it is to vote it out, that we are no longer going to be able to do that. And I found out that nothing was put in writing, but I didn't know that in June, that it wasn't in writing.
okay. Well,
But-
I don't feel like I can vote on something that I don't know anything about.
Okay,
So I will just abstain when that comes.
okay. Anyone else? Okay,
And so I would just like a quick clarification. So we still have not received it in writing?
we have nothing in writing.
All right. Well, then I will motion to dismiss it.
Need a second? To dismiss it.
I motion to, I second. Commissioner Boone.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank,
I abstain.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harbit,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes.
Thank you. So this will, I will explain to the mayor, and our minutes will reflect that this is not something that we can do anything about. So new business, is there any new business that we'd like to address?
When do we address the
Oh,
annual
I'm
meeting
sorry.
discussion?
We have to go back. That was, I was thinking it was going to be a part of your, your comments before we do that. And we're talking about the annual meeting. The annual meeting is supposed to take place in June. And we have not done it for a couple of years because, in fact, I don't think we've ever done it.
We have definitely done it. We've elected officers before, like I was elected vice chair.
That
We've-
was in July.
But that is still part of the annual meeting, and the annual meeting can be done in June or July. It's supposed to be in June, but we have 90 days within that. So we've definitely done the annual meetings before.
We've had one annual meeting that wasn't called an annual meeting because we had not enough people on the commission in order to do it. So when the mayor put 4 people on this commission to give us a quorum, that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, then we were able to make a decision. She had us vote and put officers in place. Since that time, we've had the pandemic. And last year, we did not call it a regular annual meeting in June. So we can do it and we will have a regular meeting, an annual meeting, and we can have it in August. That would give us time to make the decisions that we need to make on officers, because that's the purpose of it in the first place, is to have officers replaced or renewed.
From my understanding, the annual meeting is supposed to happen yearly, so I motion to have it happen in August. But also, from my understanding, all committees that currently exist are supposed to basically justify their existence at the annual meeting too.
Well, most of the meetings that we have had or subcommittees that I've appointed have a deadline anyway. So the conclusion of each subcommittee has come to pass before we had an annual meeting. So this is something that is going to be part of our bylaws, and that's another thing that I thought you all were going to bring up. So we will make sure that we include that in our annual report under our annual meeting. So if you would address that and give us your information that you come up with for us to do the annual meeting. It is already in the bylaws and it's also in the ordinance. So we will do and follow the rules and have a June. If we don't have it in June, it gives us 90 days to have one.
I think there's a motion on the
Yeah,
floor.
I motion for us to do it in August.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't hear you say motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvet,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with unanimous vote.
So we will have our annual meeting in August.
Just
you
for
have anything else?
clarification, that would be August 23rd, right?
Yes, it's August the 23rd,
Thank you.
2022. It's at the bottom of your agenda.
I don't have a physical copy of that.
Okay. All right. Any new business?
Did we roll? Yeah, we did. Yeah, I'm tired.
No new business? Then I will open it up for public comments. Public comments are 5 minutes each, and when you finish, we thank you. We
Robert
need
Bank,
your name and your
Robert
address.
Banky, 256 Ironwood Drive. Members of the commission, at the last month, I stood before you and raised concern about the city's shameful actions by minimizing the presence of our most marginal residents. And yet today, for new business, there is no discussion on this topic. I come back here tonight to let you know that Hispanic Heritage Month is just 50 days away. What have you done to help the city prepare for Hispanic Heritage Month? The event that Mayor Heath spoke about, the Pride event in her comments last month, is just 32 days away. And yet there has been no communication about any planning taking place for either of these events. As a reminder, we were told by the mayor that the city of Adrian is operating on a policy of not flying flags at City Hall. This policy was implemented by the previous city administrator, yet other cities, state capitals, and federal buildings flew pride flags for Pride Month, not Adrian. The mayor gave us a multi-year-old response that this was in violation of the flag code and we needed a new flagpole. That was incorrect. Flying a pride flag is not in violation of the flag code. I ask this commission to have a discussion on this topic and to pass a resolution that asks the city commission to fly a pride flag for Pride Month. I've spoken to other commissioners and they are in support. They've never had a discussion with the mayor on this topic. I also ask that you create a work group to look into what other months can be celebrated to recognize our city's rich history. With just 50 days away, Hispanic Heritage Month, I am fearful, has already slipped away. The mayor said that there was work, but I find no evidence of that work on any of the city websites or individuals that I've spoken of. While flying the Mexican flag below the US flag does conflict with the flag code, has there been any discussion of purchasing a Hispanic Heritage Month flag? Not the Mexican flag that caused all the controversy and forced all of the marginal communities back into City Hall. That's not a city flag and can be flown at any of the poles at City Hall. This would solve our problem. Has there been a discussion about celebrating our rich history of diversity at the Four Corners? Some of you have been in other major cities where you see the pride flag colors painted into the sidewalks. Why don't we have one that crosses the Four Corners? That's the pride colors, red, white, and blue for our patriotism, the colors for Juneteenth, and then also the colors to recognize the Mexican flag or Hispanic Awareness Month. That would be a great way to show our diversity all year round to the center of our city. Remember, Adrian has a rich history. We're an important stop on the Underground Railroad, the center of the women's suffrage movement, and we have banned discriminations for its residents based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and HIV status. What happened to our city that we let one former city administrator make a decision to suppress our marginalized communities? Our current city administrator has been in his role for multiple years now and still uses this former administrator's policy as a crutch. This is the sign that our mayor, our city has, and city administration does not wish to be bothered with this issue. There was no pre-meeting discussion on this topic with the commission, and it wasn't brought up here. Was there no policy created by the commission? There was no workroom formed, and instead we are abandoned by our leaders. And I feel that I was abandoned by this commission. To the HRC and the mayor, your voice, we demand change. I encourage you and the mayor to provide an update to the members of what work is taking place so that plans for Hispanic Heritage Month and the upcoming Pride event can be communicated so all of our community can be recognized and participate in that. All too often, these events are not communicated until the last minute, if communicated at all. If any of you see the mayor, I emailed her after our last meeting, and I'm still waiting for an email response. I posted on social media, I've emailed other people, and she's failed to respond to her constituents.
I'd like to have to stop you.
Okay.
5 minutes or up.
All right. And I will say, Mrs. Bernard, that you were in violation of the Open Meetings Act at the last meeting
I
for
wasn't here.
participation.
I
You
wasn't.
communicated via
I've
Skype.
communicated as a public.
No, you didn't. You did it during commissioner comments. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess an update from
No,
my side.
Public comments right now. Is there any other comments online? If there being none, we will have commissioner comments at this time. Commissioner.
So I reached out to Jackson, and I believe was it Ferndale, one of the Detroit suburbs that had flown the pride flag. I reached out to their, it's not their city administrator, I think they call him a city manager there. So it's basically their Elliot. And I didn't get a response. I reached out to literally every person I know and gave them all of the commissioners' emails, the mayor's email, the city administrator email. My sister is she's an Army veteran. She works in a city out in Massachusetts as their veteran affairs manager. She is the director of the OutVets Flag Corps out in Boston, right? So she's a vet, she's a city worker, and she's openly gay, and she knows flag code because she's part of the Flag Corps. I said, can you please write our city? Like, just because it was one vet that complained about our flag code and we decided to change it based on one person's opinion. I was like, maybe another vet that knows flag code will reach out and maybe that will make a difference. She didn't get a response either. I feel your frustration because I sit here at this DS and we're not listened to any more than you are. And I feel your frustration, and I've spoken with I'm part of the event, like I'm I'm part of the committee that's planning that event in August. And we talk about the flag almost every time we meet, every couple of weeks. Has anyone heard anything? What are we comfortable accepting? What other alternatives do we have? And several, at least two of us are Hispanic too. We're trying to come up with, is there a, was it, I can't remember if it was Michelle or one of the other people I was speaking with about having like maybe a contest to come up with our own Hispanic heritage flag, the Lenawee County Hispanic heritage flag. And then we wouldn't have to worry about all of the different country flags and it would just be ours. We could do that with the Juneteenth flag, because I don't think there is a official Juneteenth flag. We could do that with the Lenawee County or City of Adrian can have a contest for something like that. So we make our own flag and then we can fly it. They don't have a way to argue with us about it, because you are correct that a society flag is not the same as a country flag. I think I don't really have an answer, and I know that's really frustrating to have people up here that we're supposed to be leaders and we're supposed to have answers, but the truth is that honestly, I kind of feel like a token up here. And that's my commissioner comment.
All right, Commissioner Ramos, I have a couple of comments. So I definitely understand that it's frustrating that I have it up there. And it's been something that I have bugged the commission about, especially as I've heard more and more people voice concern about it. And it was actually spoken about in a recent city commission meeting, which I, of course, encourage you to go to and let them hear your mind there as well. But there was definitely no unanimous opinion among the commission. Some of them were like, yeah, that's kind of important. We should do that. Some of them were a lot less interested. Some of them thought that it would be difficult. Some of them thought that, yeah, why aren't we doing it? So there's by no means a uniform opinion in the commission. So residents saying something, residents coming to the meeting to make themselves heard does help with that. And of course, we say things, but we're only a resident each. So having more people saying things does help, and especially when it's done at the meetings where it can be heard. So just in case you're not aware when the next city commission meeting is, it is the first Monday and third Monday of every month. The regular meeting starts at 7 and a pre-meeting usually starts at least a little bit before that. So the next one is August 1st. And I will certainly be there. I hope to see others that would like to talk about this issue and make sure the commission knows how the community feels. I would definitely support you in that. I agree that's very important, and there's a few different ways we could go about it. They offered at least a few ideas during it. Some of them I would argue are a lot more reasonable than others, but that's also why we need to make sure that they're getting input. Anything else I have will be an announcement.
Any other commissioner comments? Announcements. We were going to ask Michelle if you would talk to us about the building evacuation. We'd appreciate it.
Sure. So I anticipate us sending out another press release tomorrow, which will have a lot more information. But the long and short of it right now is approximately 175 residents were evacuated yesterday from Riverview Terrace. They were given options. So some of them had vehicles and had relatives they could stay with temporarily. Those that did not have an immediate place to go, we staged them at the Piotr Center for the afternoon and evening. And Department on Aging brought over food and water and fed them a meal last night. And then those that were at Piotr Center and needed a place to stay were taken to area hotels here in Adrian and in Dundee, where they're currently booked through Friday. And again, Department on Aging is delivering food even to the hotels in Dundee 3 times a day. So everybody's getting meals. Our Emergency Operations Center is working with the apartment group on, short-term and long-term housing and what this looks like going forward. And that's what we'll have more information about tomorrow. But we're continuing to work with them and work with the residents. We will be setting up a hotline. And that will be, like I said, in tomorrow's press release with that information. The residents can call and we can communicate with them about what their needs are. That's pretty much the update I have right now. Like I said, there'll be more information tomorrow. We have another meeting tomorrow and then we'll have a lot more information after that.
Okay, so who is actually meeting? Persons or groups? Is it a meeting that we need to be a part of?
Not at this time. It's the Emergency Operations Center is city
know
and
it's your-
county staff
Mhm.
that coordinate when there's an emergency such as this. That meeting will also be with, there's people from some other agencies that will be there assisting us. So I would say not at this time, but once we meet tomorrow, we'll have a better handle on who those contact people will be. We've already had some people from the community reaching out, asking how they can help.
Mhm.
So like I said, once we get that hotline and those point people, then we will be able to funnel all of that.
Okay, any questions for her? I had one, and that was most of the people that were living in that building had medical issues. And I wonder, did we bring in ProMedica to help assist in any way?
Yes, there was a representative from ProMedica at our EOC yesterday all day.
Okay, so they're on board. All right. All right, at this time, we have other announcements that we'd like to have. Thank you.
I'll make a couple of quick announcements. So of course, Commissioner Ramos here again. On the 29th, I'll be at the fair. If you want to come visit me at the fair, I'll say hi. I'll be stuck at a booth most of the time, so I won't be able to leave and say hi to you. You have to come to me, but I will be there if anyone decides to pop in. Of course, August 1st is the next city commission meeting. And from there, the second Friday is August 12th. And I just see some of you there. And I do want to make a quick mention of a big thank you to Angie Sorteith, our mayor, for her participation in the cook-off and for making such a delicious dessert. I want to give a special thanks to Lindsay Patton for making such a delicious dessert. I'm still enjoying it to this day, but we understand she could make it there, and we're very happy to see it. And I do actually have a trophy for you. We'll meet up and deal with that at some point. And I also want to give a big thanks to Ashley for being there and helping. She didn't make me any desserts, but I'm still very thankful for all of her help. Her and Josh were amazing. And I suppose I should thank D'Angelo, but kind of like me, he has to be there. But still, thanks, D'Angelo, man. We had a great time. And we'll see you all next year for that.
Any other announcements? Commissioner?
I did want to add that for second Fridays, that's when the brake light clinic will be at this one. So that's free
Be
brake
where?
light repair. It will be at second Fridays.
What will be at second?
It's called, it's basically a pullover prevention clinic. So they'll be changing out, I think basically mostly brake lights, but I think there are some headlights too for free, just for people that want to learn how to do it themselves or just small repairs like that, that would get someone pulled over. There'll just be a tent and someone available that can make those changes for them.
Thank you so much for your announcements, and we will take those to heart. We will have some more things that we want you to know about. I will send them out to you in email, and we can mention them at the next meeting. Okay? All right, if there's no other business, no other comments that we'd like to come up with, we will close out our meeting. Motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn, Commissioner Ramos.
Second, Commissioner Boone.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.